Welcome to the Fit Girl Magic podcast. If you are ready to find your inner magic, develop great habits, and a rock steady mindset to feel confident, comfortable, and fit in your body, you are in the right place. I am Kim Barnes Jefferson, and I'll be giving you weekly doses of health, fitness, and life tips sprinkled with humor and real talk. If you're ready to be consistent without the stress of perfection, magic makers, it's time to slip into your favorite pair of PJs, grab some coffee, kick back, and listen to today's show. Hey, magic makers. If sitting down makes you feel lazy or taking a nap feels like you got to get a permission slip signed by two different people, or you've built this big, beautiful life, but you're too busy managing it in order to actually enjoy it, this episode's for you. Today, I sit down with Miss Letitia Lynch, and we talk about why women feel that joy, rest, and pleasure aren't rewards that we can take advantage of right now. It's something that we push off into the, I'm air quoting here, the someday category. You know, we, for so much of our lives, we let like the invisible stress that we swear we don't have, or we just say like, that's just how my life is, get in the way of our joy in our lives, that we are so good at turning everything into another checklist, another to-do list, another benchmark that I have to meet in order for me to sit my ass down. So ladies, this is the episode where you kind of ask yourself, do you even know what you enjoy anymore? You know, I know many people I've asked as I'm trying to explore this on my own, what do you like to do for fun? And I get a pause, right? So this episode, we talk about what it takes to create these little tiny moments of joy and why trying new things without feeling like you have to make this giant commitment to it. Just give it a shot. See if you like it. See if you don't. Is what is really going to allow us to see what we actually enjoy. And this is what I'll tell you. Like, honestly, you're not going to catch me doing a mud run. You're not going to catch me doing camping. But there are other things that I'm willing to give a shot and just suck at. So if your body is begging you to sit your ass down, but your brain keeps telling you, one more thing, girl, keep listening. This conversation might be the permission slip you didn't know you needed. And as always, if there's someone who might need to hear this same message, please share this episode. Let's get into it. All right. Today's iTunes review of the week is brought to you by C. Hayes 77. I am so happy to have found this podcast. I look forward to listening to the new episode every week. I just finished the latest episode on lifting weights and loved it. I listened to it 3 times because it's so informative. I feel like I have a trainer in my ear when I listened and a friend to chat with, along with the things I love, fitness. Thank you so much, C. Hayes. That just fills my heart so full. So anyone else has a review, please absolutely share it with me. I love this and I appreciate every single review that I get. It just melts my heart that I am sharing the information that is going to be helpful for you to make sure that health and fitness is easy for you. All right, magic makers, I'm really excited. Okay, I know I'm always excited because I only bring people I like to talk to. Why bring on duds? So I have brought on today Letitia Lynch because I have been kind of going down this rabbit hole. And then I found her on TikTok, and then I started poking around her website and realized we've been asking the same questions. We've been asking, like, why are women waiting to enjoy their lives? Why do they feel like we have to earn things in order to rest? And why does slowing down feel so uncomfortable? Like when you tell someone to sit their ass down, they're like vibrating because they can't even do it. And I found this sentence on her website that made me be like, find her, get her on the show. She says, joy, rest, and pleasure are non-negotiable, not someday, but now. I mean, if that doesn't kick you in the shin, I don't know what does. So let's just jump into there. Now, how did you come up with that? Like, I saw that and I was like, yes, this.
You know why? Because I'm guilty of this, obviously, because we create things for the version of us that needed it in the first place. I have this business now, but I have a marketing, consulting business that I've had since 2020, and I grew that business really rapidly, and it was making like 30 grand a month, and I still was like, okay, well, now I hit that goal. That was a goal that I had like at the beginning, and then that wasn't even enough. It's like I had the
Mm,
next goal, and I was thinking, how often are we just kind of constantly waiting to achieve the next thing? And think about it when we think about dieting. We're like, well, I'll start on Monday,
right.
even if it's like, and then if we
If
miss
it's a
the
Monday.
Monday, if we miss the Monday, though, we'll wait for the next Monday. And there's always
Right.
some waiting period. Or like when you think about celebrations, we only kind of celebrate special occasions, or we only use
Yes.
the special dishes for a holiday, or
Mm.
when guests are coming over. And I was thinking about how many times do we delay gratification or satisfaction or joy because we're waiting for the perfect or a special moment, as if every day that we are waking up and we're alive and things are going our way isn't special. And so that's something that I became obsessed with because I delayed so many things and I was kind of just tired of it.
Let me ask you a question. At what point did our lives become this giant game of productivity Jenga? Somewhere between driving your family here, there, and everywhere, the endless piles of laundry, remembering everything for everybody, and literally being there for everybody. A lot of us Gen X ladies, we got really good at managing our lives, but we forgot to participate. And it didn't happen in this big dramatic table flipping Real Housewives moment. It was a little bit quieter. We thought connection meant I liked your Facebook posts, and fun, well, that's something on my someday list. And then that someday list kept getting longer and longer and longer. So I created a short quiz. What part of your life have you been blowing off? And it's to really help you understand where in your life we need to take a little bit more rest. Where do we actually need true connection? Where do we need to have a little bit more fun? And maybe just feel like you again. So head up into the show notes and click the link for this free quiz. And then do me a favor, tell me what showed up for you. Yeah, you're absolutely right that and I was guilty of this too. And I remember I worked for a company years ago, and every company meeting, every month we had a company meeting, and the CEO of the company was very insistent that every department had to find something in their department that they did that month to celebrate. Every single month. Like it was just like find something that you achieved in a month to celebrate. And if it was something like really big, that person in front of the entire company got a bottle of Vive Clicquot champagne. And
Oh, cool.
and it was like, so it like really taught you to kind of like every month pause, because like we're all kind of like grinding towards the end of the year or grinding to the quarter. But every month it forced you to pause and be like, what do we achieve? Like, where the hell are we versus just constantly
Yeah.
being caught up in, uh, the grind. Um,
Yeah.
and it's really easy to, like you said, like not eat on the good china except for Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever
Uh-huh.
it is that you have, or not wear your good clothes.
Exactly. Hmm.
So, and I guess like we all have this, what I call your ground zero moment, that like we were talking before the show recorded, and we were talking about like, why is it that we know something is wrong, but like we just keep living this way? We're just like so indoctrinated into, I have, like, this is my life. This is just how it is. Right. And so, like, for you, what was it that made you kind of say, you know what, I'm making all this money with my business. This is going great, but is this it?
You know what? It was because so in 2020, I started having all these random food allergies like out of nowhere. And I was
Mm,
like, that's really weird. So of course I went to the doctor. I am generally a healthy person. So they were like, well, we did all the tests. Nothing's wrong with you. Are you stressed? And I kept saying, well, no, because I am a happy person. And you would
yeah.
think. Also, I believe in mental health and all the things. So I had a therapist. I had a marriage counselor too. So I had two therapists. I was
Right.
doing Reiki with this person. So that was also great. I was meditating because she was telling me to. I was journaling. I was doing all these peaceful things. I would get massage therapy because I worked all the time. I had a chiropractor. I had all these people that were supposed to be there for support, and they obviously were doing their jobs. but I'm still having random health issues that came out of nowhere. And everyone's asking me if I'm stressed. And I was like, well, how is it possible to still be stressed when you're
Uh,
taking care of yourself?
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, it was something that kind of made me realize we don't recognize what stress really is until it's hitting us harder. So stress actually shows up in little small ways, but we don't
Mm,
notice until like the health concern or the health scare or the real thing that has now developed. And that is like kind of what kind of kicked me into I don't think I am even in attune with my body anymore because how did I miss this? How did I
yeah.
miss the other signs coming up to the point where this had to come for me to be like, huh, I should maybe should pay attention that something's probably not right here with me, even though I'm smiling because I am happy. I was stressed and therefore it was killing me on the inside. I mean, not killing me, but in so many words.
You know, it's funny because in my work, the first place I always talk to my clients about are stress and sleep. And I was like, regardless of how healthy you eat, how many times you work out, if you're stressed and you're not sleeping, like it's just putting water into a bucket with a hole in it.
Yeah.
And I am guilty of the like, I'm just doing my work. I'm not stressed.
I'm fine.
I'm fine. Yeah, I have this little aura ring that tells me like, girl, you had a stressful day. And I was like,
I had to get one for this very reason. So I'm like, clearly I'm not recognizing it. I need
well,
something to tell me.
and it's like I'm sitting. Yesterday was a stressful day, and I'm like, well, what did I do? And I was like, oh, I was organizing this, and I was organizing that, and I was like, in my
Mhm.
head, it was just organizing, but clearly my body was like having these impacts, and I think that always kind of, when I have those days, I'm like, all right, I guess organizing something in the organizing was causing me to stress, which makes me kind of think, okay, what am I doing today that is not going to be that like, it's like I don't think many people I think many people underestimate the mental load, right? Like
Yeah.
what
Uh-huh.
I wasn't exhausted, I wasn't tired, but like my brain, because I was trying to like fit all the pieces together, my brain was
It
like,
was quiet. It was a silent thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
like my brain was whirling, but my body was like, no, I was just sending emails to like reconfirm a podcast, and I was trying to get a new guest, and it was like,
Mhm.
and I'm like, and I think a lot of us women, that's our life, right?
Constantly.
I'm trying to get my kid from soccer to dance to piano to this to work, and I don't think it's just like you're just caught up in the hustle.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yep.
And so, most people have like, I've built this life, but I'm not actually living inside of it. Like I'm just kind of the conductor of of the life.
Literally. Yeah, yeah.
So, many of us think like we have to earn the rest. And, do you think it's something that we've been taught? Do you think it's like you know, I know for a lot of us, especially people of color and also immigrants, our families have been taught like you
Yeah.
must, drive, strive, achieve.
Yeah.
And I don't know if any other cultures have that same like you must do this to like kind of, I don't know if it's like proving your worthiness or, whatever it is, but like we've just been so ingrained in our brains that like we need to be productive.
It's like so if you I don't everyone's childhood is going to be different, but I think in a lot of minority households, there is this sense of laziness, this
Mm,
seen just when you're resting, like even as a child, I remember if I would be laying on the couch on like a Saturday, my mom would be like, it's time to clean up. Like, why are you laying around? Or like,
yeah.
especially like my brothers, like brothers got it even worse because they're like, you're a guy and you shouldn't be laying down. But we're also taught as children, so like I was an athlete, athletic children, and also like academic children were constantly told like you should have gotten better, done better, or
Yeah.
no crying or toughen up. And I feel like it's indoctrinated in us that we have to strive to be better or we have to make sure we are working 10 times as hard
Yeah.
to get the same, these are all sayings that are passed down in our communities and it's seen on TV and in the media. And so we are constantly not feeling like we're doing enough.
Yeah.
And if you're taught as a child that sitting down is lazy, the word lazy became a negative thing.
Yeah.
And it's associated with rest. So we
Mhm.
don't know that it's safe to rest because it's going to be seen as like, I've heard myself say, like, if my husband is chilling, I'm like, you are being so lazy and I have to do all this. I'm like, well, he's he's resting because he knows he needs the rest. And I
Right.
chose to still run around. And now I'm mad that he's not running around because I'm running around. And we have to work on, rewriting the narrative of what it looks like to slow down and let that person honor their own body and mind our business if someone needs to rest, instead of inserting our opinions about what type of person they must be because they're doing it. No matter what day it is, what time it is, if they decide they needed a nap at 1 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon, then they needed a nap at 1 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon. There are so many other cultures that get naps built into their days, and we're
I
in the
know.
US. It's like, well, that's lazy and that's crazy. And you actually need to work for 8 hours straight and you get
Yeah.
30 minutes for lunch. We are forced to do this, and it's no wonder it's hard for us to feel safe without judgment, even if it's just us in the room.
Right. And you're right. Cause it's like, even if you have your own internal mental judge being like, I can't believe I'm sitting down, there is going to be that person who walks by and says, nice to be, good for
Must
you,
be nice to, my
good
husband
for
does that.
you. And
Must
you're
be nice to be watching TV. And I'm like, oh my God.
right. And then, or
It's nice.
even in a work environment that, you might be like, just finish something really like taxing.
You have to look productive at work at all times.
Right. And you want to take
Uh-huh.
5 minutes to like sit in the break room and just like regroup. And there's someone walked by like, oh, that's nice.
Or though she had work to do.
Yes. So I laugh because I worked at a company and it was one guy in an apartment of I don't know, there's like 20 of us, but there was one guy. And the rest of us are always like busting our asses getting stuff done. And he would always be like walking around, talking to people, socializing. And all of us girls would be like,
He got some nerve.
right. And we're
You
like,
see him, he ain't never working.
he never, or like, but he would always, he'd always carry a pad and a piece of paper. And he would like walk with purpose to wherever he was going. And we're like, you're walking with purpose to the bathroom. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah.
And, but like, we all like, not only internally judged him, we all like kibitzed about him being
Yeah.
like not like, and we're like, now I look back, I'm like, he was just like doing him. And
Yeah.
the rest of us were living by some like the judges of the department, but also our own internal judges of like, I'm here for 8 hours. And if I am not productive for seven and a half,
7.5 of them.
why am I even getting a paycheck?
Yep. Yep.
So I think, for most of us, it's like you said, in our childhood, it's like our, mothers, fathers, other family members who were like, stop being lazy. There's always something for you to do. Or, God forbid you said I was bored. Oh,
Oh my God, I'll give you something to be bored about.
God forbid you said you were bored. But I also feel that as we are getting into this whole productivity, this whole thing, that we hit what we call Guy Hendricks. Did you read the book The Big Leap?
Mm-mm. Oh, actually, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I was like, no, I have that book.
yeah.
On
So
Audible.
yeah. So Guy Hendricks wrote the book. For those of you guys who don't know, it's a book called The Upper Limit. I'll put it in the show notes. But he talks about, I think it's fairly in the beginning of the book. He talks about how it was a summer afternoon and his kids were at camp. His wife was somewhere else, and he was sitting in his office and he was like, God, what a beautiful day. And he's like looking out the window, and then all of a sudden he starts catastrophizing, and he's like, is my phone on? Could my kids reach me from camp? Could my wife? And it was just like, what went from like having a like looking out the window being like, God, what
Yeah.
a beautiful day. All of
Yeah.
a sudden, like couldn't even give himself 5 minutes before
Yep,
he
I
started
remember
like
that.
thinking about all the things. And so one of the things I like about what you do is that you're teaching women, and I love the word ritual because I think many of us like need to create more like rituals in our lives, because like
Yeah.
rituals, like it's like something you look forward to. Like, many of
Mhm.
us have the
Little
to-do.
processes and things.
Right,
Yeah.
we have
That
the
bring
to-do
comfort.
list. Right, we have the to-do
Yeah.
list, but it's like I like the word ritual because it allows you to decide what that is.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so one of the things I think about when I talk about that upper limit problem is that like if we have these rituals, like the minute we kind of find ourselves kind of gravitating back to that old thinking process, that old thought, like we're like, you know what?
Mhm.
I get a ritual for that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think that we so I just read something yesterday. Actually, this literally just came up, and the person was talking about how we if we can learn to build the habit, like, so you heard of like downward spirals, there's something also called upward spirals.
I
Having
listened to your
I
video on that.
literally
Yes.
just talked about this and I became now I'm obsessed with it. And it was saying how whatever thing that we have trained ourselves to think, whether it's negative or positive, ends up being the thing that our neural pathways are kind of programmed to then think. And so the reason that people easily downward spiral is because they're probably always thinking negative. And I was thinking about one of the reasons why I created a space and I talk so much, even in public, about how important it is to create like little micro joys throughout the day and throughout the week. And it's because of that, I want us to train ourselves to get used to doing little things for fun or for the novelty of it all, or to give ourselves a mental break and to actually listen to what our bodies respond well to and to give it more of those things in even the most simplest of ways. And so, yes, those little rituals, um it's meant to give you just a little something to not just only look forward to, but to get used to doing, so that your body is now trained to look for and seek out those joyful moments. Gratitude journaling is something that I used to, I practice, but it's more than that, because often when you're gratitude journaling, your gratitude is for things and
Right.
accomplishments, right? And I want us to look at, joy and not trying to, but like aiming for the things that can bring that to us on a more regular basis. We are creating these really good habits for ourselves so that we can reprogram the thought of what it looks like to slow down and to praise ourselves for like taking a break when we want it. So like I have to say out loud and internally, like, look at you taking a nap when you needed one and
Yes.
you're not feeling bad about it. Like, it's fine that you took this nap. Thank goodness you listened to yourself today. Like I had to have to pat myself on the back when I slow down, because it's really still a thing, even though I've been focused on it for years now. It's still something that I have to mentally remind myself that this is a good thing. Look at you listening to yourself and hearing your body and what it needs and honoring that.
And we've, for, especially on the diet side of my life, there was the whole like rest when you're dead, right? There,
Yes.
that it's like if you wanted to achieve anything in the weight loss world, here was the formula. And if you didn't hit
Yeah.
all of these steps of the formula, you're screwed. Like you might as well not even try. And I like the idea of a praise journal versus a gratitude journal because
Uh-huh.
I don't think we give ourselves enough pats on the back.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're the first person to compliment someone else, like, oh, girl, I love your scarf, or oh, girl, but we never say, oh, girl, I'm looking good today. Like, we never give
Mhm,
ourselves
mhm.
that same praise that we give other people. And
Yeah.
friends, hit challenge. I want you for the next week. Find one thing you like about yourself and praise it. Write it down. Put it on a post-it note in your bathroom. And that way, like every day, you're like you get yourself your own pat on the back. Because if we walked around waiting for the pat on the back, it might not ever come.
Exactly. Exactly.
But which leads to something that you said, that like you can build a beautiful life and still miss it.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. So, I told you like my business was making a lot of money, but I also had my kid at the time. He's now about to be 10 on Friday. But at the time he was like 3 and I love being a mom. So this was like a fun season because he's so little at that
Right.
time. And we have a great home. My parents live 20 minutes. They're healthy. Like I was traveling all the time. I used to book these little staycations for my mental health. I'm telling you, I was really into mental health. Wasn't
Right.
working, but I was into it. And I was just thinking about what a beautiful life I've built where we're not struggling. I have a business that's successful. I get to work from home. So I got to control my schedule, the thing that we're all aiming for, all this freedom and stuff. And, I still wasn't really present when I was even with them. Like I might be on a
Yes.
vacation, but I might be working, or I might be with my kid, but maybe I'm making content in between because I'm like, oh, this is the perfect time to make some content because I'm dressed up today. And I
Right.
just thought about like I have friends, but like, am I even paying them any attention, or am I just listening to them and waiting for my turn to share my problems? And I'm going to all these classes and trying all these things, but do I taste the food when I'm there? Or am I
Yeah.
just eating just to eat because some list told me that this was a top restaurant in town and I should go check it out? And it became, I think that that's what I'm doing. I think I'm just doing things that I think I should be checking off. Like, yep, did you take a vacation this
Yes.
quarter? Because they say you should take more vacation. I'm going to. Took it. Now it's done. And that's a life that sounds great on paper, like the guy that's great on paper, the woman that's great on paper. It's like it was
Yes.
great on paper, but not exactly what I needed.
Yeah, it's funny that exactly what you just said, how like we're very good at checklists, right? Us ladies, give me a checklist, give me a colored pencil and a
A
checklist.
goal, a checklist.
Oof, I am on fire. But am I just checking a box or just physically being present? Like you said, you're like, I had a massage, I had this, but you're just like, but was I enjoying it? Or was I just going to it because someone on the internet told me I needed to have
Someone
a
said that you should.
right.
Yeah.
And I feel like so many of us get caught up in the trappings of what my life should be like. We never
Yeah.
even pause to say, do I even like it? Do I even,
Uh-huh.
take the pasta class? Do I even like pasta?
Do I want to have to make my own pasta? Would I have rather gone to Italy for
Right.
this?
And have someone, like personally,
Someone make it in front of me.
I'm cool. Like I love when someone else makes me a sandwich. It tastes like the most heavenly sandwich on the planet. And it
Uh-huh.
could
Uh-huh.
just be turkey, cheese, and a bread, but it still
It's
tastes
amazing.
heavenly
Do I
because
really want that sourdough starter? Or do I think it's just a good thing for right now that everyone's
right.
doing?
Does it look good on my Instagram or do I really like want to make
Uh-huh.
the sourdough? I'm going to
Yeah.
tell you no because once something goes in the oven, I forget about it and I'm off to do something else. So I am not a baker of
That's
anything in the
so
oven.
funny. It's
It goes,
very easy to get wrapped up in that stuff, though.
yeah, and I feel like, what you're bringing forward is the pause, right? Give yourself that like pause, and the pause doesn't have to be like years or hours. It's like not missing the life that you built.
Mm-hmm. Being more present in just the everyday too. I think that's how we easily get disconnected from our bodies too. I think it's very easy to not hear your body when you don't you can't even hear birds. Like the other day when I was walking, I was like, birds are really loud. Like this is pretty. Because they're just like, and I was like, this always sound. I live in Georgia, so there's lots of trees everywhere, and everyone that visits here is like, gosh, it's a lot of trees. I'm like, it is, isn't it? But I don't think I know. And I walk outside a lot, but I notice things more now, and I'm like, gosh, this is the simplest things that we just weren't listening to because we were just going about our day. Like, oh, I'm taking my 10-minute walk that I promised myself I would take every day. So like, I was just
Right.
kind of checking off the walk to say that I got fresh air and the vitamin D that I'm supposed to get for the day. Like literally following these rules, but not actually experiencing what the feeling it's bringing to me, which is why I talk so much about knowing what ways that you best experience joy. Is why I started talking about that recently online too. It's like, because do you even know what things actually bring you joy? Or are you just
Yeah.
doing things because you're used to it, or you think that that's something do you think you should have a 50-step nighttime routine? Or are you just doing it because somebody told you that you should? Or do you
Right.
really want to wake up at 5 a.m.? Or is it because someone said that that's what you should do to be successful? Or if you have a child, do you really want to, try to get stuff done while they're sleeping? Or it's just so many things that I feel like we're just told and we're not asking why. And does this make sense for me?
Yeah, and it's funny because always one of the languages I'm moving towards for a lot of my women is that like we're doing an experiment. Like the thing about an experiment is that it's not permanent. Like you try it,
Hmm.
if it
Yeah,
sucks, you put it back in the closet. If
I love
it's
that.
if you like it, it stays with you. Or if you're like,
Yeah.
it's like a little too heavy for this season of my life, but like something I might want to come back to, you come back to it. But it's
Yeah.
like, but it's like being able to say like my walk, right? Or things that like I'm not going to do without like ask me to do without like my slow morning. That's like
Ugh,
asking me to give up my arm. Like,
I don't play
no.
about my slow morning. Yeah, I need it.
I did a 9 a.m. meeting yesterday, and it was only because the woman could only do a 9 a.m. meeting because she was in England. And I was like, okay, I, I got to compromise. She's in
Now
England.
and then you got to recover after that because that is like not your thing.
Right, but it was like, I'm like, I will make the exception because she's
Yeah.
in a different country, and that's really, we only have this many hours.
Yeah,
of
y'all only have a
overlap.
few overlaps. Yeah.
But like, I'll start. This is 11 o'clock is the earliest, and even then, that comes a little too fast for me. But like 11 o'clock is the earliest I like to schedule things for, because the morning
Yeah.
is my little ritual, and I think many of us have to find those things that you. This was years ago. I heard on a podcast. She called it her tiger time, and she likened it to the Asian culture, the tiger mom, like the mom who's like, here are your rules and you must do this. And she goes, my morning is my tiger time. She's like, I will protect it like a fierce tiger. Like, if
I love
someone
that.
tries to get into it. And I feel like we don't have a lot of tiger time, like, because
Yeah.
and I love it because you're a mom, and so many moms like, oh, my kid, and I'm like, here.
And I'm obsessed with my kid, by the way. He's always around. He's in Cambria, but I get that. But they also need to see us showing that we need rest, or that we are tired, or if we're sad. Like, they need to see us feeling things and then articulating what we're feeling and why we're moving the way we do. Like, he could be more independent, but he's my only kid, so he's a little bit spoiled. But I'm like, yeah, mommy's tired right now. I'm always doing things for you. I said I need to rest, so I can't. You can either get it yourself or you can wait until I'm available. And he's like, okay, I get it. Okay. And I'm like, that will make him a better man when he's older too, because then he'll understand, like, maybe I should leave this person alone, or maybe I should look out for them because they're tired. Like, did I even try to help them today? Like, I feel like we need to teach the newer generations more of being self-aware of yourself, but also of those around us, because we have to look out more for one another. I think we shamed each other enough for being lazy and all those things that we talked about for years. Now we should be like, you really need to sit down. Like, you really need to rest. Like, didn't you just tell me that you were tired? You don't look like someone who's tired if you're still running around. We have to start saying these things out loud that we are really feeling, despite our responsibilities, motherhood. I'm a wife too. Like, okay, well, also he takes rest when he needs it, and I should too. Like, it should be okay for both of us to do so.
And I like that, because I also feel like we need to teach our kids the independence. When we were growing up,
well, we were overly dependent. We were little adults.
Yeah, agreed.
The latchkey kids, we were latchkey kids. It was wonderful.
I know, agreed. Like, I was doing stuff at 8 years old that now, if I saw an 8-year-old by themselves, I'd be like, where's your mom?
Oh my God, your parent hates you. This kid is going to be kidnapped.
Right. But but in my head, I'm thinking to myself, like, sometimes, like, I think parents need to say, you know what, mom needs 30 minutes.
Yep.
And you're in the house.
You're fine.
They're set up. They might be coloring. They might be watching their own little show or whatever it is. But it's like, we're having like parallel play. You do your 30 minutes. I'm doing my 30 minutes. Doesn't mean I don't love you. Doesn't mean that we'll spend the next 6 hours together. But like, teaching our kids that, like, it's okay to be independent.
Yep.
I think is a great thing, because like, so many of us get exhausted because we're like, just chasing,
doing the most,
doing everything, and we don't give ourselves a 30-minute breather. Because I remember when I was a kid, I couldn't talk to my mom until like she came home and had a glass of wine. After she came home and had a glass of wine, what do you got? What do you need?
Our parents had much better boundaries than I think our generation saw, and the ones, so Gen X, and I'm a millennial, so that's me and my brother. I think we were so used to that kind of upbringing that we wanted to be a little bit more involved. But now it's like we kind of went a little
the other way.
Millennials, because I'm a millennial parent. We're doing too much. And I'm like, why did we? I'm like, I think we were like, well, we weren't really paying attention. We're going to pay our kids attention. But it's like, there's a difference between paying attention and just doing too much. Like, you don't have to he don't know what you went through as a kid. So what are you making up for? He doesn't have anything for you to make up for.
Right.
So exactly. Why are you doing all these extra things? Like, you also I was a happy kid. So I'm like, it's not like I wasn't happy. Like,
right.
So I don't know what we think we should, why we think we have to do all these extra things to be quote unquote good parents, because we're great. We're doing actually really well. I think our children have so much more emotional intelligence. They can articulate themselves. We will listen to them. It's fine. Like, we're doing great. It's okay.
Right.
And yeah, it's just interesting just because I have friends, all of us have kids now, my friend group of friends, and it's like I watch all of us at different levels of who is more letting our kids be independent or not always giving them exactly what they need. And then there's like levels to us. And there's,
Right.
the ones who know better, teachers. All my friends that are teachers, they're like, girl, please.
Well, right, because
And
they're
then
like,
those of us who are not around children like that, we're like, oh my God, my baby.
I
So
know,
I can just see the difference in people who understand, like, you are gonna have to take this break because the kids will always want something or need
yeah,
something. Or
they'll
there will
always
always be responsibilities.
right, and it's like, you know, they'll like, and knowing what the boundary is, it's like, my mom was like, "Well, when I have a cup of coffee, then we can talk about anything in your world.
Her
When I
rituals. She had her
Yes. When I have
rituals
this
and
glass
she
of
let that.
wine, we could talk about anything on the world in the world, but like I need five
Yeah.
minutes.
Yep. Yep.
And,
I
and
love to tell my kid, I'm like, do you see mommy laying down? Don't I remind him, don't I usually do something. So if I say I don't want to, that means I really don't want to. And he'll be like, oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Do you need something? And he'll start to ask, do you need something? I'm like, thank you. You should get me something. I'm tired.
right. Yeah.
I make sure he sees me taking naps whenever I want to. And I'm like, well, mommy's tired. So it's nap time. And he'll be like, oh, okay. Or it's Love Island time. Go away.
Love Island time.
Mommy needs her Love Island time.
And I always laugh because it's like, you think about like kind of like the random things from your parents that your parents did as
Yeah.
kids. And then you're like, what are my kids going to be like? Oh, my mom was always like Love
Yeah.
Island or whatever it is. Like, what's that? Like handful of things that they will like always remember you
I knew when
about.
my mom was watching Love Island not to talk to her.
Right, exactly. Or like, when when I came home from school, I went to my grandmother's house and it was like,
Watching the stories.
yep, you couldn't talk during general hospital. You couldn't talk. And then my sister and I would be sitting in the backseat of the car driving home with my mom, and we'd be having this like full on discussion about what happened in general hospital. And my mother is like, I really can't complain because it's free babysitting, but do you have to?
And it's like because grandma knew that she needed that boundary and she didn't care. Look, your kids are fed, they're alive, and
Right.
you could
And we're
work
watching
until you
General
needed, yep,
Hospital at
and
3 o'clock.
and they were fine. And they're watching the greatest show of all time. How about
And
that?
the fact that it's still on TV, like,
That's so
blows
funny.
my mind that it's still on.
I know the stories.
And I'm sure if I sat down today, I would be like, oh, I could hop back in.
You know exactly what this plot is going to mean.
I could probably hop back in about 3 days.
Uh-huh.
So I think I loved how we kind of went down this rabbit hole because I want women to laugh at us, like to laugh at us for not taking the break, to laugh at ourselves first, or ask the bigger question, like, yeah, why can't I put my kid down with a coloring book and take 30 minutes, even if I'm just sitting staring at a wall? Like, why can't I?
Exactly.
Why can't I do that? And I feel like happiness or just the quiet makes a lot of women uncomfortable.
Yeah. My mom, I listen to her and she's like, I don't even have hobbies. My mom is
Mm.
68. And so I'm 40, she's 68. I'll be four. So we both are at very different stages of trying to figure things out. I think every decade of life, you become a different version of yourself. And so the things you like or gravitate toward are going to be a little different. But different generations also didn't necessarily have access to the same thing. So for me at my age, it's pretty common for us to come up with hobbies or try little random things because there's classes everywhere and we have
Right.
access to it, right? And the internet to look it up, to find these and discover. My mom was like, I don't even have hobbies because I don't know what I would even want my hobby to be. And just
Yeah.
imagine not knowing what you like. And to me, it's like, really? You don't know? But I'm like, I get that. Well, why would she? You weren't necessarily doing this type of stuff. You did stuff in school and maybe you liked those things and continued them on later in life. But otherwise, you kind of worked and had your family and moms almost became synonymous with motherhood. Like if
Yeah.
you were a mom, motherhood was what you did.
Right.
And and then you worked or you were a wife. Like it was like those titles really dictated what you did, and the things that you liked probably were things that you and your husband liked together or your friends did. It wasn't like you knew what you wanted to do on your own. So I feel like we are all having to realize that we need to get to know ourselves a little bit better. And that quiet even though it's uncomfortable, like, God, I really don't know what makes me happy. Well, when
Yeah.
would you have had the time to figure it out?
Right. Because we're always
Now you
filling it
have
with
to.
stuff. Right.
You're filling the time and not giving yourself an opportunity to discover. I think that lack of discovery that children get to
Mm.
discover, you know what I'm saying? This is the first time I'm saying this, but I kind of think about it like that. Children get a chance to discover and play and explore. And that's seen as normal because we want them to do that. Like, use your imagination, but we don't say that to adults. We don't tell adults to use their imagination. We make it seem like imaginations are childish, but
Right.
that imagination and going there allows you to explore and experiment, like you were saying earlier, with what things might appeal to me. Well, I have to try them first to kind of see, or I have to be open to them and to know whether or not this appeals to me. And that quiet is where you can think about those things, is where those things come up.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. So I just recently, so my husband just retired and I recently just moved to Florida. And so many people are like, oh, you're going to have to learn to play pickleball. And I was like, do I? Like, and
Exactly. Like, is that the general retirement sport?
right. I'm like, do I? And I laugh because, it's the same question. It's like, everyone down there is like, oh, we're going to need to have some hobbies. And I was like, do I? Like, I can easily fill my days with things. I don't know what I'm doing, but I can easily fill my days. And so it's like, but also feeling like you have to find the hobby. Like, you can't experiment. Like, sure, I'm taking a pickleball lesson on Saturday. I don't say I'm going to like it. It's just a
You don't have to
lesson.
become a professional pickleball. You don't have to be in tournaments. You could just test it out. That's how I feel. I have ADHD, though, so I feel like we are just more open to trying whatevs. But
Right.
I'm glad for that. So I think it's a benefit because sometimes I feel like people just like, did you want to keep being a runner, or was running just for a period of your life where maybe you needed to get out all of that energy? Now that energy's gone and you're still doing this activity, do you feel like you have to be a runner, or can you move on now? And it's like, you're in that run club because now you're just like, I like these people and this is where they hang out, but that's not you anymore. And that's
Right.
okay.
I laugh because I used to live in Boston. I used to live around the Charles River, and I used to walk around the river regularly. And every spring, people would be like, "It's spring. I'm gonna go for my run," and they would always look miserable. And I was like, "No one running ever is like, I'm running. It's awesome." Like, everyone has the same miserable look on their face, and I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I haven't run since 2010, and the next time you see me run, it's because I'm being chased."
That it will be the only reason I'm doing that. I watched the little run. I'm like, that looks so fun to have like a community of people that you hang out with. But I'm like, but it ain't gonna be for that.
Yes, I was like, I like a community of sitting. Like, where can we sit? And which is,
Mhm.
I know, very surprising for those of you guys. Like, yes, I like working out. Don't get me wrong, that's my thing. I love it. However, I don't like running. I don't like. Don't invite me to a mud run. Don't invite me to do a high rocks.
Oh my
No, I'm all
gosh, the
set.
lead
I'm full.
runs. So glad those days are over. Like, don't
Yeah.
even invite me. Every time I get invited, I'm like, no, and I'm perfectly fine with saying no to
No,
those things.
I was like, that just, I don't like, when they first started, I trained a woman to do one with her son. And I'm like,
Yeah,
great, bonding with her son. So like, she comes back and I'm like, hey, how was it? And she's
yeah.
like, oh my God. And I'm like, I'm thinking like she got hurt, or she's like, the first obstacle, she goes, was like, you had to swing over something. And she goes, I fell in the mud pit. She goes, I had mud and I was pulling mud out of my crotch for the entire run. I was like, that sounds amazing. When's the next one? No, I do not want to spend
Exactly. I've done the mud run one time.
miles pulling mud out of my crotch. That is not on my bingo
And
card.
fearing for your life, like, is this next obstacle going to be the one I get injured on?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, one of the things I like about you is that you separated your folks into
Yeah.
different, I'm going to call them personas. Is that what you call them? Do you call them personas?
I call them unbothered types. I want us to be unbothered and happy about it. And yeah, they're just types of being unbothered. And it's really just closely related to personality styles because, I might be very active, which I am. I'm like the wanderer, which I like being out. I like experiences, hence me trying a bunch of new things. My my best friend is a nester. She loves to be
Yeah.
home. She's very chill. And I'm like, we still hang out and we have a great time, but the things that we're going to gravitate toward for joy are not going to be the same thing.
Right.
And there's 5 types that, we all kind of gravitate to different things, but they also kind of relate back to just the ways that we can reset our nervous systems anyway. So it's kind of naturally leads back to different things that you might need depending on what's going on around you, is how they kind of end up lining up.
And so can I go from a nester to a wanderer or vice versa?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'll just quickly rattle off the 5 just for perspective. So there's the nester, and the nester is the person who finds solace and home in their personal space, and that's their sanctuary. And they like to make little micro sanctuaries throughout their home as well, little spots for them to do the things that they enjoy. The wanderer is the person who experiences joy through experiences and novelty. So that's why the trip or the planning of the trip, and then the experiencing the new place or the restaurant or whatever, it appeals to them. And then there's the ritualist, and that's the person who they live in sequence. They like to have predictability, and they like that's a comfort for them to know that they have something to look forward to in their little steps in the processes. There is the sensualist. That person lives and experiences joy through their senses. So, they're the ones that care about the textures of things and the smells and the aromas, and they have their signature scents and all the things and the materials. And then the last person is the unplugged. And that's the person who does not want to be connected to always listening to notifications and looking at their phones and all that stuff. They want to do things with their hands and be, not dealing with the distractions. But when you think about all of those things I said, there are times where you might be a nester and you love being home, but you start seeing the sameness, like every day you go to work and you drive the exact same route, and you come home and everything feels the same. And actually, a lot of us live with people, even though we're nesters, right? You live with people. So that kind of disrupts what home looks like at times. And while I love taking care of my kid, but there are going to be times where I cannot think if I'm home because I have all these responsibilities. So if I can go on a little trip, no one knows me there, and I get to be a different version of myself, but also my brain gets to quiet down because I don't have those same responsibilities temporarily. And so, yes, we will evolve and need different things at different points, but you got to think about what's the stimulus that's causing you to feel the need and the pull to the other areas.
Right. No, I really like that a lot because I feel like we all have pieces of our life, pieces of our soul, if you will, that we ignore, right? That the part of you that needs a little bit more play and a little bit more wandering and a little bit more selfishness, but then we also need to honor who we are, right? Like we are if I'm the homebody, I'm the homebody, and like how can I make my home, a better nest, if you will? And if I need to wander, be able to say, you know what, it's okay that I go solo.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to always be the family trip.
Exactly. Are you organizing with friends to see who can go and, getting schedules together? Like sometimes it's actually better that way because you often will let the influence of people's opinions and their experience cloud your experience, right?
Yeah.
And dictate how yours is going, right? So when you're alone, you finally get to decide everything. Like, how long do I want to stay at this place? And did I like that particular type of food? Or am I always just going to that restaurant because my mate or my kids that's the only place that they'll eat? Like, I'm a 2 hours max at a place and I want to go home. But my friends like to stay all night and go to multiple locations. That's just not me. And so the more you can sit with yourself, the more clear your boundaries actually become, and you'll get better at articulating them too, because now you know why you feel that way and you'll put your foot down a little bit more.
No, I really like that because I think most of us kind of know who we are, but it's nice to be able to like answer the questions and be like, okay, yeah, like I kind of
stand 10 toes down behind it.
Yeah. And be like, and you with your quiz, you also give me, I don't know if the right word is permission to be.
I like to say it that way.
To be who I am. And to like you said, like stand my ground. Like, you know what? You do you, boo. I like to be home. Like I want to be home at 8 p.m. in my pajamas. Great. At least now I know you're a wanderer. I'm a nester.
And you get why the other person needs it. Yeah.
And we might be able to find what our common ground could be as in a friendship or even in a relationship. And kind of as an extension of the quiz, you've also taken it into what I just find like so fascinating. This whole world, this like it's a kind of a subculture that I feel like I've uncovered, and you have uncovered as well, of the
Yeah.
mail club. That
Yeah.
because like most of the mail clubs I've seen are just like you get
Art.
stickers
It's always art or little thing.
or artists and things like that. But yours
Yeah.
is more. I'm going to call it, and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to call it like more of like a self-care kind of club,
I think
more
it would fit in that category. Hmm.
because it's less like, get a sticker of a kangaroo in the mail, but it's more of like, hey girl, this
It's
is your
curated experiences. That's
this
exactly how I always say it. I'm like, I'm curating your experiences because a part of why I think we don't do stuff is because the mental load. Now we have to plan this stuff and do all these things. And what if someone just planned it for you, gave you all the steps? Like there's two solo dates that come, one for you to do at home, right? And then one for you to go out and about and do. But that itinerary is planned for you. You just kind of have to fall in line with it and try it out. And it gives you an opportunity to kind of see what are some of the other things I might like doing. Just because I like being home doesn't mean I don't like, some of these experiences. Can I bring those experiences home, or can I go out and do those things? But will I feel comfortable if I went out and tried them? And then it gives you like 12 rituals. It's not trying to force you to do rituals every single day, but it does introduce you to different types of rituals from the different categories. Because I'm like, maybe you would enjoy this unplugged person's ritual, even though you like to be out and about. Part of your out and about is experiences. What if you're experiencing doing and completing something with your hands? That's going to give you the same level of dopamine, right? You're going to get that hit, but it's a different type of activity that you don't always have to be out to do, right? If you can't. So I just think it gives people an opportunity to have experiences. So one quick thing that I want to share is we look at happiness and joy almost as the same thing, but happiness is just a feeling and joy is an experience, and you have to experience it to be able to say that that's what you have going on. And I heard this from it was like a psychologist on Emma Greed's podcast. It was like an episode back in November of last year. And anyway, the woman studies joy for a living, which I think is pretty cool. She's like a psychologist. And yeah, she was saying happiness and sadness and all those things are just feelings. But joy is something that has to be experienced. And that's why you can see someone else doing something that makes them happy and it doesn't make you feel the same way, because you're now experiencing that thing. And the outcome isn't always going to be joy just because it's joy for them. And I'm like, that makes sense, because we have to know what actually brings us joy and what we need in that moment. And that activity may not have been it.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And so is this something that happens monthly, quarterly?
Yep, it's every single month. You subscribe, but then every month I curate the same collection, but with different things in it. So,
Gotcha.
for example, August, I just planned August, and August is built around the sensualist type. So, and last month, I think, was built around the ritualist type. So, the activities were built around creating little rituals for different things. But this time, it's about how can this person experience these dates or these rituals through their senses. And so, everything is built around the senses, whether it's all five of the senses. And it's pretty cool because every month is different. Every month might not be your exact type, but you are opening yourself to trying new things that actually might help someone like you and also understand someone who is not.
Gotcha. And what I like about it is that, if you're forcing me to slow down, right? You're forcing me.
You have committed.
Right. You're forcing
to slowing
me
down.
To get off my phone, to get off the computer, to get off my iPad, and
that's why it comes in the mail. You're waiting for it to come.
Open physically something up, and probably you're like encouraging them to be like, "Hey, don't do this when you're in the middle of cooking dinner and doing other like." Set a time that you're going to look through this and bring your own ritual to actually open these up. And so you can like really in the moment start to decide like, oh, she's asking me to do A, B, and C. Like, you know what? I could do B this week.
Exactly. Yeah, it comes with a letter, and that is like really me kind of telling you with the vibe. Like, here's why I think this might be good for you this month. Yeah. July is about this type of stuff, and if you think about that, it would be a good time to do these type of activities. And yeah, it's really fun I think it's
Okay.
also it's the fun in a way where you're like, man, I just learned something new about myself, and this is actually really cool. And you may keep all the things, and you may not want to do them ever again, but I think you're going to be more equipped to slow down and to know what to do in those moments and how to enjoy them.
No, I think it's a great idea because it's really easy for us to get caught on our phones,
Yep.
and or
For entertainment. Mhm.
mindlessly watching. But one of the things I'm forcing myself to do is to be more connected
Yeah.
in real life.
Yeah.
And before COVID, I did a lot of in real life stuff,
I know.
and then
It retrained our brains, I think. It disconnected us from community, but it also disconnected us from ourselves. Because it's like, if you really didn't know what you liked, then you were gonna really be bored during COVID because it was tough time.
I laughed because like there's like a song like "Bored in the House," and like it's that was like
I'm
the
bored in the house and I'm in my house bored.
yeah, and it was like the theme song for COVID, and it was like like who wasn't bored during that time. Um, but if this year I'm forcing myself to like be in person with people because this is so easy. Like yeah, like let's like text
Yeah,
or
just hop on
whatever.
my phone. Yeah.
But I'm forcing myself to do that. So it's like, you know, for those folks who are interested in it, I'm going to put all that information on the show notes, but you can like check out her mail club. And like I said, now that I've said mail club and you're listening to this, it's going to show up
You're gonna see them.
it's
Oh
going to
yeah.
show up
The
in your,
algorithm already heard it. It's gonna
yeah,
start showing it.
it's going to show up in your algorithm. But what I enjoy about her mail club is that it's not, most mail clubs I found are stickers and, you know, other malarkey. This is for you, the person who's like, well, I don't know what I like. I don't know what my hobby is. Here's where she's going to help you to figure out like what is, try something new. And you might find something that you enjoy, or you might be like, well, never going to do that again. And that's okay.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
And that's what it's all about. And so, what I like to do in my show is rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So
Ooh.
it's literally like like the rock shark test, like turtle or critter, whatever you see.
Okay.
So
Okay.
coffee at home or coffee at a shop.
Ooh. Coffee at home.
Me too.
Hmm.
Sunrise, sunset,
Ooh, sunset.
book or podcast.
Book.
Now, do you go like hard copy book or like a Kindle?
I do like hard copies. I'm obsessed, but they don't travel well. So I do
Yeah,
have a Kindle now. I just bought a Kindle. And I'm
yeah.
obsessed with that as well. So just all. If I like it on the Kindle, I would buy the physical copy to support the author. I have a
Um,
lot of double copies.
I, I'm like big into like supporting authors because I'm like, once you kind of get into the world, like you just hear, like you just think like, oh, authors must make gazillions of dollars,
They
and then
do not.
right, because you only know about the ones who do. Like, but
Exactly. No, I'm
90%,
obsessed. I follow all of the authors now, so they're like people to me and not just the name written
yes,
down. And yes, I buy the books. I have the Audible sometimes and the physical book is on my Kindle.
I know. Because there's probably like 10 authors that I read that are like I could say making it, and everyone
Yeah.
else is like I'm going book to book.
Yeah, support them.
Morning or night owl?
Oh gosh. I think I like my mornings. I wake up happy. My kid does too. We wake up like, good morning.
I know. I used to be a night owl. I was a night
I
owl
love it.
for a really
Yeah.
long time, and when I shifted because I started working out in the morning, and so like
Mm,
my whole like rhythm is now like if it's like 6:30, I'm like, all right, I'm up. Let's
I
go.
love that. Having a kid kind of does like my kid
Yeah.
is very needy, so he's always in our room. But also, I do like staying up, but I need more sleep, and then until I can train myself to take my behind the bed, I need that sleep. So yeah, I'm going to be a morning person. That's why I like the slow mornings because it's so special to me.
Yeah, exactly. And then what's one thing that instantly makes an ordinary day better?
Ooh, I would say one moment of like silly makes the day better. So
Yeah.
like I have a vinyl record player. You can see it is right over there. And I will randomly play music, but I am not the best dancer, but I be getting it in this office. And it's so random. And I'm like, if someone could see me right now, they would be like, what is she doing? A full concert?
Oh,
Doesn't
yeah.
matter. But it's always some other random moment. So I'm like cracking up laughing over the most ridiculous thing. And I just love it. My kid has this little bouncy thing. He has ADHD, so he needs to get his energy out. And sometimes I jump on this little board. I'm like, this is really fun.
You're
I
like,
don't
no
know why
wonder
I
he
feel
likes it.
great. Yeah, no, exactly. So yeah, one moment of silly, I think, can turn any day around.
So for those of you guys who are listening, I'm sure that woman who's folding her laundry, driving in the car, answering emails, and she keeps telling herself someday, what's one thing you would love for her to hear today?
For that person, I would say there is one very simple thing that you could do right now that you think is going to take a long time. That once you do it, it's going to take you like 5-10 minutes max. And I would push you to just pick that one thing and just do it. Yeah, I have these little rituals. I have the rituals. I cut them out and put them in like a little thing, and I open it and pick one randomly. So
Oh,
the rituals I
nice.
create for the club, and I'm busy, and I have this two businesses. But I started doing a little ritual. I'm like, this was fast, and this was actually really fun, and it makes me really happy. And I was like, it's very simple to make something out to be too much, and it's not.
Yes.
Yeah. Your happiness in a simple moment of joy is not too much, and it's not going to take too long.
Yeah, I think that's what we always psych ourselves out that I read something, I'm like, oh, it's going to take too long. And then you do it, and it's going to take you it takes like 10 minutes. And, or I always say, give yourself a time limit. Do it for 15 minutes. And if you haven't finished, stop.
Exactly. Yeah, I love that.
And so I always end my podcast with two questions. One, what makes you feel magical?
I think that I create a lot of moments of like fun and joy, not just for me though, for my kid. Like I bring a lot of whimsy to life. And it's just because I'm a creative at heart. And so, yeah, I think that that's a good thing that I think I bring to people in the world and myself.
Nice. And then the second question I ask is, what makes a day feel like well lived, right? Like we can all go through the day and check a box, but like what makes your day, like you look back and you're like, that was a good day.
Good day. I think when I at the start of the day, I get like food and it's good and I feel like nourished and it gives me the energy that I need and something random happens. I love the days where something random happens and it becomes the best part of your day. You're like, I wasn't even planning something unplanned and the novelty, and you get to spend time with your loved ones, however that time gets to be spent, whether that's on the phone or, in person or whatever that case may be, or just with your kids. Like I make sure when he comes home from school or camp, I pay him attention and like listen to what he's talking about. It's so cute. And you end the night in a peaceful way so that when you go to bed, like it's like you're carrying that good energy into the next day. That's like the perfect day for me.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, I so enjoyed this conversation. It was exactly what I was hoping that it would be. And, thank you so much for being on the show, Letitia, and everyone. Her website.
Hey, the podcast is coming.
Right. Her website is where you can find all of the information about her mail club. And where can we find you on the socials?
I'm on TikTok. It's Banked and Balanced Club, and on Instagram, Banked and Balanced.
Yeah. So make sure you follow her, and any questions, like she definitely drops some really wisdom nuggets that make you pause and question your day. But it's definitely worth a listen. Trust me, I went down a rabbit hole. So thank you so much for being on the show. And Magic Makers, as always, I will talk to you guys next week.
Thank you for listening to the Fit Girl Magic podcast. If you've made it this far, yay! I'm thinking you enjoyed the show. Let's continue the conversation on Instagram. You can find me at Kim Jefferson Coach. In order for me to keep sharing this message, do me a favor and leave me a 5-star review on iTunes. While you're there, don't forget to subscribe so that you won't miss an episode. New episodes are available every Wednesday. The Fit Girl Magic podcast is intended to provide you with tips, tools, and strategies that will help you make better decisions about your health. I really appreciate your feedback and your support. Thank you so much.